Okay, so there might be some people out there that think I'm full of shit. Well, this is an ascender, Petzel, Ascension Work Solutions. That's a carabiner. This is a loop line, I think it's called. This is a harness. I'm probably going to modify it, put shoulder straps on it. This is a Petzel also. This is a Grigri. It's called a belay descender. These are carabiners. More carabiners. This is a pulley that I'm going to be hanging from. This is my diagram for my plan for this ascent. This is how I have to do this, and this is why this voyage is good for me, because this is therapy. I have to sit down and I have to very carefully plan things. I can't just rely on my intellect anymore. This is exactly the therapy I've needed since I was brain damaged 8 years ago. And something, I don't know, I'm not a stickler for these kinds of things, but it's weird. I would not be able to do this had I not lost the weight I lost. There's no way I could do this 260 pounds. Anyway, I'll show you I'll tell you my plan. Okay, the main mast. Problem is the mizzen mast has no halyards. Halyard is a rope that goes up and over the pulley through the top of the mast, which is how you hoist sails and things and people. So there's no halyard. So I have to get over to that mast. The only way to get up the mast is with a halyard. You use a halyard to draw your line up. And sometimes if you're replacing a line, you can sacrifice that line and replace it with another. So you can actually replace all of your halyards with your climbing rope, and do your rigging and then replace them back again the same way you did it, and even replace them with new ones. And I just thought of that right now. I love having my brain working again. I feel like I've been suppressed or boxed in or held back by all that's been going on and all the stress it caused. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still patently incapable of working a job. That's the encasement, that's the enclosement, the confinement that causes me to get all screwy. But anyway, so here's my plan for this ascent. I'll use my halyards to pull up 3 lines, 3 climbing ropes, excuse me. God, this is hard mixing these terminologies, because there's the terminology of sailing and there's the terminology for climbing, and both use ropes, and they call them different things. Sheets, halyards, lines, rope, rode in boating, or in sailing, and leads, lines, rope, I don't know what else in climbing. So I gotta get these terms right. So on the so I use the halyards to hoist up these lines, and I have 3 lines that I'll be using. I have a safety line, an ascent line, and a zip lead. What I will do is the safety line is what I always connected to. The safety line will prevent me from falling. Ideally, the safety line would be hauled up by someone, but what I will do is with the safety line is either buy another ascender or grigi, or more likely use a mostly so I can practice is just a simple configuration of running the rope through itself in the carabiner, which allows you to pull your, you can, as you ascend, you pull this, you pull the line that comes out, and it pulls up the slack, and if you were to lose everything else, your safety line would be the only connection, then it would catch you. And this carabiner thing would catch you, and you could reattach or whatever, or you could also let it down. If you slack it, it lets it down. So it's a simple knot, but it's like an ascender. But ascenders and grigris are much more easy to use. I mean, an ascender you know, I grip it like this. I hold this by hand and I pull the rope. I pull myself up the rope. It's not quite that simple, but so that's why you use an ascender, is to ease your hand, because otherwise you're gripping rope and you're getting blisters all the time. And I've got to rebuild calluses for doing this. But anyway, so I have the safety line, the ascent line, which will use the ascender. And actually on the safety line on the ascent, I could probably use the gree for the safety line. And then I also have a zip lead. In addition to that, I'll have the line that I will be running over the, or lines that I'll be running over the mizzen mast, attached on another carabiner so that they're dragging up, that they're drug up, and they're all going to be free, you know, other rigging. God, this is so difficult. I'm thinking while I'm doing this to make sure I got everything. But anyway, once I get to the top, I attach the pulley to the cable. I'm going to put friction tape on the pulley because the cable is metal, and metal is not good. It will damage the pulley. So I'm going to put some probably heavy-duty friction tape on there, 16th inch thickness if I can find it. Friction tape on it, and then that'll attach to this via carabiner, which attaches to me. I will also have a safety lead. Okay, there's where the details are. I'll have to have a safety lead just on a carabiner, you know, that'll be free to go, but it won't hold my weight, so there won't be any friction, no wear and tear on the carabiner or the cable. But that's in case the lead to the pulley breaks or I do something wrong and it snaps. That I have that safety line, but I'll also still be attached to the safety line on the main mast. And then as I go, I let that out. I let the gree out for my main ascent, so that when I'm descending, because the main mast is higher than the mizzen, when I'm descending, I have to let myself down because the pulley will just, I'll just go, and that would be bad. There's about 15 feet of horizontal and about 6 feet of vertical drop, so it would be, and I'd black out or die. I'm losing track. Get back to it. So I have the gree to the blade descender to let me down, but also the safety line. So I let the safety line down first, then I'll let the gree down. Safety line first, gree down. So you're always attached. So I've got a safety line, a descent line, and a safety line, and a pulley. So I'm attached in 4 ways. So absolute redundancy, and this is helping me with my acrophobia. I have extreme acrophobia, by the way. I couldn't stand on this counter and do this because the fear of falling off would, can be that bad. Climbing the roof of this motorhome is woo. Anyway, so yeah, so the safety line. I just explained the whole setup. So the plan then is that I descend down to the mizzen. I run the lines through. I have something else on carabiners to weigh the lines, maybe even loops or some stringers with weights on them or something. But anyway, to even just to anchor them there, and then or just force them through. That's a good idea. Sorry, I'm processing it as I talk about it. But so I run the lines. I also have to bring up with me. I just remember this. Bring up the 2 cables and the fasteners and the tool. So I have to plan ahead. I have to know what the dimensions of everything are. So I bring the right tools, the right fastener to replace it, the right stay for the cable, the right cable. The cable has to be the right length, so I don't know how I'm going to figure that out. But so I also run these cables, or secure these cables to the top. They won't be secured at the bottom yet, so they can be free and won't get in the way of anything. So I run the lines, attach the cables, ascend back up to the main, detach from the cable, from the pulley, pulley off, reattach to the belt, and then descend back down the main mast, and I'm done. And then I pull my safety lines back out, replace the halyards with new lines. I think it's 3 on the main mast, and then I'll run an additional line. And probably while I'm up there, I'll replace the mast light with an LED. I'll probably add my cell phone antenna. Oh shoot. Yeah, because I'm always going to be... No, I can't know what direction I'm going to anchor, so I can't put the cell phone antenna up there. But anyway, any other antennae that I need to put up there, any other electronics, probably a wind vane would be nice. The radar reflector would be nice to have up there, although I'll put it down below the tip. And that should do the job with the rigging. And like I said, I've spent $700. I'm probably going to buy, no, I'll just use the carabiner thing. Not to save money, to practice with not having these if they break. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to use these things. So yeah, I'm serious. This is happening. I expect to be out of here by the end of the month. The North Pole's not going to happen. I'm sad about that. So I'm going to hit the Panama Canal, or the Northwest Passage. That is still an option. If the Northwest Passage is still viable, or will be viable, by the time I get there, I will do that, because there is still a possibility of shooting for the pole. Although there's, it would take 40 days to get there, and there's only 10 days to do it, so... There's no going to the pole this summer for me. Very sad about that, but we'll do this. Anyway, what's really important about this, excuse me, this thing is really hurting. I didn't realize until I was putting it on that I have colon issues, and this is really uncomfortable and really going to cause a lot of pain. But it'll only be done rare occasions. I'm spending $700 on this equipment, and honestly, it would have cost me that to have someone do it for me. Possibly even less. Possibly a shitload more, who knows. But I didn't do it to save money. Let me restate. I didn't do it just to save money, because I have limited resources and a lot of stuff to do, and I have about 1/5 of the money that I should have, and 1/10 of the money I want to have to do this right. But then again, that's all part of why I'm doing this, and the way I'm doing it, the reason for doing it. Sorry, I am medicated, but I'm finally tired. I have been so hyper. I'm in a manic phase. I've been so hyper, I haven't been able to get to sleep. It was 2 o'clock in the morning before I got to sleep last night, despite being exhausted. I've just been going so much, and I'm really worried about breakdown, psychotic type breakdown, nervous type breakdown, because I'm just so mentally exhausted. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit. The boat owner won't be back until Saturday. He was going to be here to help me a little bit with it before that, but he won't be back till Saturday. But he did point me out to a few things that I missed on the engine. So I got to reset the air stop, and take a look at it. I'm probably going to pull one of the injectors out and look at it, and we'll probably go ahead and go through and clean all the injectors. It's easy to do. I did it on a motorhome. I'm a diesel mechanic now too. It's that fate thing, I guess. And I certainly don't believe in it, but someone had to be in this role, these roles. Someone had to. We've strayed so far from our purpose as humans that it took what I've gone through in the right timing and the right circumstances, and things like my having lost 100 and I think it's 110 pounds now. No, it can't be. That would put me at 140. No, 150. Yeah, I've lost 95 pounds so far. I couldn't do this. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't have the food allergies. I mean, it's just... if you were to make a diagram of the interconnection of all the events and emphasize the difficulty somehow, it would be immensely complicated. I can't even understand it myself, and I have this immensely powerful brain, apparently. It's unfathomable. It's, I'm trying to remember a word used by a character in a movie. It's irrelevant. Anyway, so I'm probably wandering way off topic, and I'm probably already out of time, but just wanted to show that, yeah, I'm serious. This is happening. And, I had a terrible, terrible vision today. I have these once in a while. I can not see. It's not seeing the future. No, not by any means. It's perceiving scenarios based on information that processes in my head, because I'm always processing things in different parts of my brain. And this was playing out my departure, and I heard. I was hearing some kind of concussions off in the distance. I don't know if it was gunfire, fireworks, or whatever, but some kind of concussions. And my mind was wandering, because I was actually at the time thinking about my departure, and something about violence and the stalkers came in, but it very quickly left again. But it left enough of a trace of violence that I started thinking about leaving and being in the midst of watching America be destroyed by war, bombed or nuked, or people killing each other, or whatever, just in America being destroyed, and you know, just it was two things at the same time: fantastically horrible and horribly vivid, horribly realistic. It wasn't like a movie, the only thing that comes to mind is that stupid Cloverfield. But it wasn't anything like that you could tell that was contrived. This was, you know, I've been in situations like when Power Ring was on fire when I was a kid in elementary school, and seeing just disasters, and you know, in 9/11, for example, and talking with people, and it's that feeling. That's the feeling that was in my mind. That exact feeling, that 9/11, and that was who I imagined I was talking to. Actually, it was my boss that broke the news to me, and it was just like, it was unbelievable, but you accept it at the same time. And I had that exact same feeling that you probably had on 9/11 that I also had. And that's why it was so disturbing. Especially because of how realistic it was. Because I had experienced it before. I don't want to see that happen. By any means. I know how to bring complete and total peace, but we have to agree to it. I mean, we can boil it down to this for what's wrong with America. We have a democratic government. Why don't we have a democratic economy? Government is what leads, what administers. An economy is the system by which efficiency of distribution of resources and distribution management of resources. God, I hate losing track. Fuck. I hate this. Oh my God. I'm probably out of tape anyway. Almost. I'll put it in comments.